Start recording.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Y.E.S presentation. Today we have Shelley Welch from the W.I.S Program Incorporated. Today is a very special topic. It's very important. It is about domestic abuse and breaking the silence of domestic abuse and violence. And on behalf of the YMCA, we thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise. And I look forward to learning.
Thanks so much, Amy. Hi, everyone. I'm going to just take you through an overview, what I call DV 101, and a W.I.S overview. As Amy introduced me, I am the Director of Annual Fund and Charitable Giving at W.I.S. I will be hitting my 10th year with the organization next month. So in some ways it seems like it's been a long time, and in other ways it seems like it hasn't been that long. And also this year W.I.S is celebrating our 40th anniversary, so we have been around for a very long time. As our CEO likes to say, we hope one day we will not be here and we will work ourselves out of a job. But unfortunately, in this day and age, the statistics continue to rise and the need for our services continue to rise. So I'm going to start with just an overview of W.I.S. We'll get into a little bit of the DV 101, and then we will go ahead and talk about ways you can further engage with W.I.S if you're interested. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so this is a very great time for us to be talking about this issue. Our mission at W.I.S is to provide housing, integrated services, education, and advocacy to end domestic violence. I will touch on each of those pieces as I go through the presentation. W.I.S was established, as I had mentioned earlier, 40 years ago. We began as an organization trying to help those who were homeless. In finding that there were many women and children who were homeless, our founders started to look into the issues that might make that happen and realized it was due to domestic violence. So that's really when our organization shifted to primarily focus on serving those who were victims of domestic violence. And today we are the largest domestic violence agency in the state of Illinois, providing incredible wraparound services, and we are launching nationally this month. So I'm just going to cover some of our facilities and the services that we provide in our housing. We have 2 emergency shelters, one in the northwest suburbs and one in the south side of Chicago. Each of those locations are strictly for people who need to get to a safe location. And they can stay there anywhere from 89 to 120 days, depending upon which location they're in. And we provide anywhere from 40 to 45 beds per night at those 2 locations. At that time, they are just trying to get themselves situated. We are paying all costs, and we're just trying to help them to cope with where they've been, where they are now, and where they'd like to go in the future. Next, we have our transitional and permanent supportive housing. We have 147 locations around the Chicagoland area. Most of those are, I'm pretty sure all of those are in Cook County, although we do take people from anywhere. We even have people who come from out of state, but we primarily have all of our locations in Cook County. Transitional and permanent supportive, that housing is anywhere from a house where 2 to 3 families are going to stay for up to 6 months while they are still getting their feet underneath them. We're still paying all costs. As they move into transitional, or which could be composed of rapid rehousing and a variety of other kinds of housing programs, that's where they're actually starting to pay and take care of their rent, their utilities, things like that. So they're becoming more independent at that time. Permanent housing is for anybody who has a mental or physical disability. So they have a disability characterization. And as long as they have that, they are able to stay in that permanent housing. last year, our numbers are shifting. We're just about to formalize our annual report for last year. So then this will switch over to 2024 numbers. But in 2023, we provided over 107,000 nights of shelter for adults and children, and provided that would be for a little over 1,200 clients that received those services. There was a question before we started. Diane had asked about the resale stores. We do have 3 resale stores in the area, one in Arlington Heights, just off of Rand Road and Olive, one on Golf in Niles, just past Milwaukee Avenue, and then one on Golf just past Roselle Road in Schaumburg. Those provide revenue for us for our programs, but they also provide stuff for our clients. So when they come in to a shelter and they don't have anything but whatever they were able to carry in a suitcase or a bag out of the house, we're able to give them a gift certificate to go over there and to get the clothing and things that they might need for work or school, whatever. And then also when they move into the transitional housing and are, in need of furniture, housewares, home decor, whatever, they're also given a certificate, a gift certificate for that. And our trucks will actually go ahead and move them, move the furniture and everything for them, so they don't have to rent anything. So it's a great supplement to what we do provide for our clients. Moving into the integrated services, each of our clients who are in our housing programs are put together with a family and a children's advocate. The children's advocates work specifically with the children to help them understand what they have gone through and to try and break that cycle by helping them know what a healthy relationship is and letting them know that what they came through is not a healthy relationship. Very critical part of our program. The family advocates work with the adults, and we do take men, women, and children who come in with their parent. We work with LGBTQ. Domestic violence doesn't discriminate. So as long as we have somebody who is in need of our services and meets our criteria to take them into the program, we will work with them. So we want the adults to be able to have their own advocate to work through the issues that they're going through, to set up goals and next steps so that they can meet that, but also work through the issues, the counseling that's needed. About 3 years ago, we acquired a new direction, and that's down in the Beverly Morgan Park area on the south side of Chicago. And they do a lot of counseling with clients, but they do specifically a lot of legal counseling and advising with the clients. So that is a great program that we have been able to add into what we do. Community-based services, this has a lot that gets encompassed underneath it. It's our counseling, it's our career services, it's our hospital program, our mentoring program, medical collaborations at hospitals. We continue to grow that this year. Out for many years, we've been at Northwest Community Hospital for I think 20 years. St. Alexis, Alexian Brothers, and this year we moved down into Chicago to UI Health. And so with that, there's a lot of training of the staff in the hospitals so that they know if a patient comes in and they're presenting with domestic violence, that they're trained to know how to refer them to us. We have staff on site in the hospitals who can go and do bedside visits. This is really key to helping with safety planning, which I am going to take you guys through. So quickly, a snippet. So I'm not going to get into that right now. But that's so that they are aware of what they're experiencing, how they can get out of it safely when the time comes, and so that they know kind of what their rights are and that there are resources available for them. We are just on the verge of launching our traumatic brain injury toolkit. This is what's going to take us national. And this has been done in coordination with Michael Reese and some various hospitals to look at how strangulation, which happens in domestic violence situations, causes traumatic brain injuries, and those tend to affect the survivor of domestic violence in different ways. And so there are different needs that are needing to be addressed. So we're the first to be looking at this and doing this and launching it. So that's very exciting, and that will be coming out soon. Um, that also falls in under our medical collaborations. Foglia Family Resource Center, we opened that 2 years ago, and that is so that people who need our counseling services but do not need our housing are able to come in and get those counseling services. It's a beautiful facility. We have rooms for children and teens. They do group sessions, individual sessions. There's adult rooms where they can come in for, again, individual or group sessions. And we also offer virtual sessions as well if somebody can't come in person. Survivor Lifeline is a mentoring program where those who have experienced domestic violence and are on the other side of it are able to walk alongside one of our current clients and help them to, know they're not alone, and here are the ways that I can just help be a support to you as you break free from that abuse to freedom. ALAS is our Latinx specialized community-based services program. And then extended services, that is for our graduates. So if somebody was to go through our full program, we have budgeting classes, parenting classes, a variety of different things. They would become graduate of our program in 2 years, and then we want to still provide services to them for at least 3 years after that. And those services are no longer the counseling or anything like that, but they may be paired with a mentor. At that point, it may be somebody perhaps that they were already connected to through Survivor Lifeline, or it may be a new mentor, maybe somebody who doesn't even have experience with domestic violence personally, but who wants to walk alongside somebody and just be there for them. So that's part of it. But then the other part of it is our pantry and holiday programs. So our pantry is set up with very basic needs from food items to over-the-counter medicine, cleaning products, and hygiene beauty products. And so we want people to be able to have access to that because they're now out on their own, they're managing their budget, they're doing what they need to do. But what happens if in 1 month you have your car break down and you've got $1,000 bill, and then your child gets sick and you have a doctor's bill and all of this? We don't want them to have to decide, am I going to put food on the table, or am I going to help, get my car fixed or my child the medical care they need? So that's part of what that pantry helps with. And then also the holidays, we provide, we're right now in the midst of, I believe, winter coats and clothing items like gloves and hats. We'll be doing turkeys and the sides. We do a holiday store. Then we get into spring Easter baskets, Mother's Day, Father's Day gift bags, and back to school backpacks. So these are all just, again, you may have somebody who's doing well, but those extra expenses of adding Christmas gifts is just way too much in December. So this way we allow them to not have to worry about it, and they still can come and get some gifts that don't take anything from their resources. So it's a great way for people to still get help. Okay, so I'm going to switch in. That's kind of an overarch of our services. And then just to end out our advocacy and education piece, that's like what I'm doing. We have people who go out and speak. We speak in schools and at organizations like the YMCA. We speak at businesses, at civic clubs like Rotaries. And we do educate people on what domestic violence is and the resources that are out there to help somebody. And then we also do get involved in certain things, advocacy related, as well, making sure the state and our state representatives and Congress people are aware of what our needs are and what the needs of our clients are. So that kind of rounds out our mission. I'm going to go ahead and talk just briefly about what domestic violence is so that you know. And part of the education you're going to do for me today, and I say this when I go out and speak, is tell one person where you were today and what you learned. Tell them that you were on this call, that you learned about domestic violence, and this is the one thing you learned about it. Hopefully, you learn more than one thing, but just share at least one thing. So what is domestic violence? Domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship that is used by one partner to gain or maintain power and control over another intimate partner. You really only have to remember that it's an intimate partner using power and control over another intimate partner. That can be, it doesn't have to be a pattern, it usually is a pattern, but one slap, one hit, that is an instance of domestic violence. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter if you are of a high social class, if you are well educated, if you are of a low social class, if you're Black, if you're white, if you're Hispanic, if you're Christian or Jewish or Muslim. It doesn't matter if you're straight or you're gay. It doesn't matter. Domestic violence crosses all lines. It does not discriminate. And so to that, we actually, like I had mentioned earlier, take in we serve all of those communities, all clients that come in with DV. Something to also note is that it's not necessarily through a husband wife or boyfriend girlfriend girlfriend girlfriend, whatever it is. It could also be an older child who has power of attorney over their aging parent and they are abusing them. It could also be an older child, like, these 25-year-olds who aren't leaving the house quite as soon as they used to, who are, abusing their parent, or vice versa. The parent is abusing them because now they're not under 18, so they're no longer a child. They are an adult. So that is an intimate partner relationship between that child and parent, which is considered domestic violence. Now, the next one, I would normally ask you guys to participate here, but because of the setting we're in, I'm not going to do that right now. There are 7 ways that domestic violence manifests itself. Those 7 ways are physical, sexual, emotional, and I'm going to categorize everything together: emotional, mental, psychological, economic and financially, verbal, stalking and cyber stalking that has been put in, that's got that technology piece to it, and spiritual abuse. Most people think of the physical abuse and they don't think anything else. Emotional, mental, psychological, that's hard to prove, but that's probably one of the more common ways. Financial, economic abuse, that's the number one reason someone won't leave an abusive situation, because they don't have the means to. I don't know if you have any questions or need further information on this, pop that into the question answer, and then Amy can let me know at the end. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to say on this. Oftentimes there's more than one of these occurring at the same time. Yeah, so we'll leave that at that. Here's just a few statistics. I'm not going to read through all of them. I'm just going to call out some of the main ones. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will be physically abused in their lifetime. Now, I just told you there's 7 different ways it manifests. This is just one way, so those stats are probably higher. Right now, I've been on the call probably 25 minutes. So take 25 times 20 people, and that's how many people just experienced physical abuse as we've been talking. And these are US based stats. 7 million children are going to witness domestic violence each year. That's where the breaking of the cycle is so crucial. We've got to get awareness and prevention out there. We actually, Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month is in February, and we actually have just about as many people calling and asking for presenters and presentations during that month to schools and parents, and it's becoming, the statistics are just about equal with adult domestic violence among teens. So we definitely need to get this out there. What is a healthy relationship? So I'll just leave it at that right now. I will mention there was, and I'm not going to get political here, but I'm going to make this statement. There was something that the president had said about the crime rates going down. And if what was messing up the numbers were those things that happen behind closed doors between the husband and the wife. Those shouldn't be counted in the crimes. I just want you to see some of these bigger statistics here of $8.3 billion is what it's costing domestic violence each year. 8 million paid work days are being lost because they're being paid, but somebody's out sick or in the hospital or at a court date. These are not behind the scene crimes. This is a crime that is an issue for our society. And in Chicago recently, there was a stat that came out that while the murder rates are going down in the city of Chicago, of the current murder rate, the amount that are happening because of domestic violence is going up. So this is not a behind the door small crime that shouldn't be counted. This is very serious. So just going to leave you to sit with that. So now I had mentioned to you guys that Wings does safety planning, and I want to kind of walk through this with you guys really quickly, because if you or someone you know, and I just gave those stats, so you probably do know someone or have known someone, are going through domestic violence, it's good for you to know just some simple basics. And I'm not going to read through everything here, but I'm just going to touch on some highlights. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you have a safe room to go to. Domestic violence is a cycle. So it starts out with the honeymoon stage. You meet, you fall in love, everything's so wonderful. And then the tension builds and it builds and builds and builds and builds until you have an explosion. Whether it's a smack or it's a verbal takedown or that emotional, mental conniving, whatever it may be. Then you go on the other side of that and say, I'm sorry, I won't do that again, forgive me, flowers, candy, whatever, back up to the honeymoon stage. And it's just going to continue on this cycle. So you want to make sure that you have somewhere safe that you can go for when that tension builds up and you're going to have that explosion. Knowing how to get the help you need to get. Where's the closest shelter if you're going to need shelter? Where is counseling, available? Where can you go? That's finding that safe shelter information. Talking to people, reach out to domestic violence agency, Wings, or there's other ones in different counties. Reach out to those agencies, talk with them, know what your rights are, know how to do safety planning like we're talking through right now. Talk to a lawyer if there's legal concerns, what would happen if you were to file for divorce or an order of protection, or, what about your children? Documenting the abuse. If it's physical, get to the doctor and make sure it's in your medical records. If it's not physical, it's going to be harder to document, but you can keep a journal. You can just talk with people. It's important. Papers that you want to have accessible to you if you have to leave. Some of the most important, and this will carry over into the identification you need to have, But property titles, if you have a rent lease agreement, you have your mortgage, any kind of utility paperwork, any of that kind of stuff. Your social security cards, your children's birth certificates, passports, driver's license, your tax and bank information, all of that's going to be important for you to have on you. I put down their address book with important phone numbers. A lot of people don't keep an old-fashioned address book anymore. I happen to keep an address book because I don't know that many people's actual addresses anymore. I just get in and say, hey, I've been to this person's house enough times, I can just get there. Or I don't know phone numbers. I really know maybe a handful of phone numbers out of all my friends, out of all my family. And so it's just so easy for me to be like, hey, call Ruth. Siri calls Ruth for me. I have no idea what Ruth's phone number is anymore because Siri does it for me all the time. So that's why I always include that piece in there. Keys, money. I mentioned financial abuse is, one of the top reasons someone won't leave. If there's any way to keep some money, put it aside in a secure location so that you have at least a little something to leave. Whatever important keys you're going to need for the car or, to get to your post office box or safe deposit box or whatever. And then packing a suitcase. Are there medicines you need? Are there specific items that are momentous, or momentous? I don't know if that's the right word. If they're treasured possessions for you, take those and protect them because that may be something your abuser would use against you. And your medicines, if you were to leave, you have some extra medicine somewhere and keep it in a safe place, maybe hide it under the bed or in your car if you have access to your car all the time. Put it in a locker at the gym if you work out. Give it to somebody that is trustworthy. Be careful who you give it to because if your abuser is going to go and look for you at your parents' house, then don't put it at your parents' house because you don't want to go to your parents' house because you don't want to endanger your parents and you don't want to endanger yourself. Because if you decide to leave, that is the number one most dangerous time for you in a domestic violence situation. And your abuser may never have abused you physically. It doesn't mean they won't when you leave, because at the point that you decide to leave, you have taken their control and power over you, and they will not like that. So be careful with that. So these are just very high level. I'm doing this very quickly, but these are just some basic safety planning tips for somebody who is experiencing domestic violence. Now, what if you aren't experiencing domestic violence, but you know somebody who is? You know these safety planning steps that I've just gone through and talked to you about. What do you do? Listen to them. Listen without judgment. It is never, ever the abused person's fault. It is always the abuser's fault. They choose to abuse. It is their fault for abusing. So just listen and don't blame them. It's not their fault, and most likely what they're telling you is the truth. There's very few times that somebody might claim domestic violence and it's not true. They're just trying to get somebody in trouble. That's usually not the case. And don't ask them why they don't leave. The average time it's going to take somebody to leave is 7 times. And that's for a variety of different reasons. It may be because they have a 13-year-old son or older, and the shelter in their area can't take a 13-year-old child because they're considered a man at that point. Wings can. We've always been able to take a 13-year-old son or a male victim. It could be because they have pets. A lot of people don't want to leave their pets. Pets are used by the abusers in a lot of cases. Unfortunately, a lot of shelters don't provide the ability to bring your pet. We do not at this time, unfortunately, but we do have somebody that we can refer that will foster the pet in the meantime. So there's a variety of reasons. Giving them the contact information to the local domestic violence agency, the national hotline number, the Illinois hotline number, the Wings hotline number, whatever it is. But when you give that information to them, make sure that it's not in a way that an abuser can find it. You want to be careful about that. Be careful if you're emailing or texting, because you never know if they're being monitored in that way. And then just to care for yourself, it can be very taxing on someone if you have a family member or a close friend, or a coworker who you are in contact with and you see them over and over and over again being in this situation and they aren't leaving. And you've told them all the resources, you've encouraged them, you've walked along with them, and you're just tired. Take a step back, do what you need to do to take care of yourself, but don't leave them. Be ready for the time when they do come to you and say, okay, I need to do this and I need to do this now, help me. Be with them. Always protect yourself though. Remember, if you are someone who the abuser will come to, don't be her, his person. If the abused is the one that's gonna come to you. Say that's not safe. Let's find somebody else who can be where you go. So that's kind of DD 101. As we transition out of that, again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And our last two slides will go rather quickly, so we should have some time for Q&A. This is just how you can help Wings or get involved. We need volunteers in a variety of ways, from helping at our resale stores, to being mentors, to working in our safe houses, to helping with events, fundraising events that we have, to helping sometimes in our main office with administrative tasks. We have opportunities for groups. So if you had a social civic club, or if you have a work club, not a work club, but your work wants to do some kind of a volunteer activity, that's a great way to do it. Pantry donations, I mentioned our pantry and the holiday gifts. Those are great ways for you to donate and to help keep that well stocked. Financial donations, obviously we take cash. Non-cash assets is a really smart way for you to help your tax deductions, and at the same time help a cause that you feel called to supporting. So that can be, if you're over 70 years old, it could be your IRA. If you are 73 and a half and you have an IRA and have to do those required minimum distributions. If you have stock that's appreciated and you don't want to pay that capital tax gain on it, or gains tax on it. It can be if you own cryptocurrency. Again, you don't want to pay any gains taxes there. Those are all great ways. Donor advised funds are a new way that is popping up, where people are creating these charitable savings accounts where they then pay make a donation out of that account to their charities. A great way to bring down your taxable income. And I will just say, under the new tax bill that will go into effect in 2026, you will not have as great of advantages. So take advantage of it now to get the best benefit for yourself. Planned giving is your will or your estate planning. Anybody who's 18 or older should have a will in place, or a trust. And definitely your power of attorney for financial and health decisions. So we do offer, and you can go to our website, we do offer a way for you to do that for free through our partnership with Free Will. And then employer matching. If you're working and your employee matches, you don't know if they match, go to your HR and check it out. Sometimes they're matching your donations. Sometimes they're matching your volunteer hours with a monetary donation. So really great way for you to give back to a cause that you believe in. Especially around Giving Tuesday, which will be coming up December 2nd. That sometimes the companies like to match that day especially. Wings events, attend or sponsor one of our events. We have individuals and we have corporations that will sponsor our events. We also have, people who attend our events. So we just did our Purple Tie Ball this past Saturday. It is our big, commencement of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we had over 680 people at the event, which is the most we've ever had. It was just here in Rosemont, and it was very successful in the amount that was raised. And then our resale stores, as I've already mentioned, you can donate there and then donate at the back door, walk in the front door and shop. And we get a lot of good brand new stuff. So again, with the economy and these different things that are happening with inflation and the tariffs and different things like that, this holiday season, if you're looking for some nice gifts, we do have partners who give us brand new stuff. They're overstock. So we've had Five Below, Vans shoes, a variety of places who give us brand new stuff, tags on it, that you could buy and regift. Or you're not regifting because they're new. Our website is wingsprogram.com. So you can go ahead and check that out for any other information. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now and hopefully answer some questions for you.
Shelley, oh, Diane, you go ahead.
It seems like it takes an army and a half to do the work that Wings does. What is the well, how many are on your staff and how many are in your army of volunteers?
Okay, great question. So in the 10 years I've been here, we've tripled in size. So we are right around 150 staff. I don't even know all of our staff anymore. We used to be at around 50 when I started, but because the demand has grown so much and the housing program has grown and the counseling program has grown, our hospital program has grown. We have expanded to about 150 staff. Volunteers, I think regular volunteers are at about 300. I believe last year with the new annual report that's coming out, don't quote me, I believe that our volunteers helped us save $2 million in overhead costs that we could not cover because we didn't have staff to cover it.
Do you need to pay rent for the resale stores or are those
do.
donated?
No, we do. So we do own some of our properties that are housing, like our two safe houses. We are still paying a mortgage on one of them. We do own our logistics center where we oversee all the sorting and everything of the products that go out to the stores. But our stores we do not own. We do rent those. Yep.
It's quite an undertaking and such an
It
important
is.
one.
Yeah.
How do you have any connection with Shalva?
That's the Jewish.
Yes.
They're an agency in the sense that we would partner with them if we had somebody who came in from a Jewish background and wanted specific help from somebody with that background, we would go ahead and refer them over to them. But we don't have any formal agreements or anything to my knowledge. We're pretty good with, we're part of the network. And I believe they are part of the network. So any of the agencies that are working with domestic violence that are part of the network, we tend to be able to partner with unofficially.
Thank you.
Shelley, how does somebody get involved with volunteering?
Yeah, go to our website and you will see on the right-hand side, get involved, ways to get involved. If you click down, one of the drop downs is going to be volunteering, and it will give you an idea of the current positions that we're looking to fill with volunteers, as well as it'll connect you with Bruna, who is our manager of volunteer services.
And like if we wanted to like run a donation of like, the holiday gifts or something like that, is that how we would go through getting that information as well?
Yep, go to that same drop down and then there's gonna be something there, and I can't remember if it's been changed or not, if it's still under like in-kind donations or a donation drive, Wings Pantry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know they've recently been
No.
doing updates to that section, so I'm not sure what it's called, but it will be under there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I have two more questions.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything that, so sometimes when I go into like the library or places like that, on the back of the stall in the women's restroom, I don't know about the men's, there's a little pamphlet of if you're, if you're experiencing DV, contact here. Do you guys have those on your website or a way we could get those?
No, we have those in-house.
Uh-huh.
So if you want them, just let me know what you need and how many. We have posters that have little pads of Post-it notes on them. So people can take that off and it has the emergency number on it. And they can fold the Post-it note and put it in their pocket. And those can go in men's or women's bathrooms. And then we have tri-fold, they fold down into the size of a business card.
Uh-huh.
And they have numbers on them, important phone numbers, as well as some safety, very, very basic safety planning on them. What are some signs of domestic violence? We have those in Spanish, English, and Polish.
Awesome. That's great.
And yeah, you just have to come. Our main office is in Rolling Meadows, so you could either come and pick them up or we could drop them in the mail to you, whichever is best.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to have those at our Y.
Yeah. Well, just email me back and let me know how many of each you would need and we can get those together for you.
Great.
Yeah.
And then Diane, I don't want to take any more of your time. Do you have another question before I ask one more?
No, it's been very enlightening.
One more question about people who are abused. Do you have a percentage of how many of them are with children? Like how many come from a family where there are youths in the family versus how many come when there are no children involved? Or is there like a majority that have kids with them?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would have to go and get that actual statistic for you for like how we are serving people.
Mhm.
But I would say the majority of who we serve come in with children. We do have individuals who come in, both individual, men and individual women. But the majority, and we do have rooms that are set up for individuals, as well as rooms set up for those with children in shelters. But yeah, the majority come in with children.
I have one last question that came to mind. Do you have any influence or effect in helping the people you serve get jobs so they can leave the shelter and be somewhat self-sustaining?
Yeah, there's some career services and planning that goes into the help that our family advocates will give to the clients.
Okay,
You guys
thank
are incredible. It's so impressive and wow, a tough topic, but really important to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that you're bringing awareness to it, and I know you said you were recording this, so if you want to send this out to your people, um,
Yeah.
you know, please, the more we get it out there, the more people understand that this is not a private behind the doors issue, the more they know that there are services available for them, the better it is for us. Not
Yeah.
us wings, I mean us as a society.
Right. Right.
It's
Yeah.
so helpful to have the victims understand that then it's not in their imagination. It's as
Mhm.
real as it feels.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic we could get into called gaslighting, uh,
Mm.
where the abuser will make them think that it's just all in their head and they're making this all up, but that is not the case a lot of times. You
Mhm.
know, you just you think this is not an issue, but it is. So
Yeah. Oh. Well, thank you so much.
yes.
And
Thank you very much.
yeah,
You're
we'll have this on our
welcome.
YouTube channel and we'll spread the word. And I appreciate your time and your expertise. And this was really informative. I learned a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, and when you put it out on YouTube, let me know and we can put
Yeah.
it out to our social media as well. And that'll kind of do a little bit of cross promotion for us both.
Yeah, the more the better, right?
Exactly. All
Great.
right. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.